Hello, men. We're on our way up here. I'm somewhat puzzled. We don't really have any clear suspect yet. So I think that's what we're going to tell Mortimer.
What a tragedy, my son. How could such a thing have happened?
That's
Dino here
exactly what
knows
I'm trying
more.
to find out. Did you notice anything out of the ordinary last night?
I saw the young French soldier, Bonaparte, I believe, hanging around near Miss Adams' room. But I would not want to get an innocent man into trouble, Louis. It's probably nothing. But if I were you, my son, I would talk to Monsieur Peru. You remember how violently he set upon Miss Adams.
Oh, don't worry. He's on the list of suspects.
Alright, did we take everything that was in the Seuss bin? We did. Okay, well, we are going to go say we have Bubkas. After making sure we've stolen everything present here, which we did last time, I think. Where's the fucking parrot? You're not a parrot, you're one of them birds. Fucking nightmares just right above the mate. Ooh, we
I've
have
come to
one.
speak about the findings of the investigation, my lord.
I'm listening, Louis.
I'm sorry, my lord, but I don't have any evidence conclusive enough to allow me to name the culprit with certitude.
Really? I see. Well, that's your decision, Louis, and I accept it. Given the distinguished guests and the sensitive political issues involved at the conference, I trust you'll leave me to conclude the case in my own way. Right. It's time we spoke about your mother, Louis.
She isn't missing, you know.
What? What do you mean?
My mother has left traces in every nook and cranny of your island, my lord. She's definitely here. Now, what worries me most is why she doesn't show herself.
That doesn't make me feel any better, Louis.
What was the official reason why my mother came to your island?
I knew about your mother's activities, and yours, in the Golden Order. I thought we had everything to gain by working together.
You mean the cannon deal with Monsieur Bonaparte?
Among others, yes. How did you hear about that?
Monsieur Bonaparte came to speak to me about it yesterday, during lunch.
I see. So impetuous. He was supposed to let me speak to you about it first. Our friend Napoleon desperately needed financial backing to properly equip his army. I took it upon myself to back him because I have a firm conviction that he can go far.
We shall see. However, there's one thing that surprises me. Isn't Bonaparte a bit young to deserve so much attention?
Well, you come straight to the point. I like that. Indeed, if you knew just how much you remind me of him. Trust me, I'll wager that Monsieur Napoleon will soon prove himself. I'm working on it, at least. Once this deal was closed, I had big plans for Sarah.
Such as what?
You see, I've invited several influential figures on my island to present them with a project at the conference. It will be presented later today. I thought that the Golden Order had a role to play, and I still think so. I was hoping Sarah would be able to join us.
I see.
Indeed, if by chance your mother decided not to return to us before the conference, would you do me the great honor of attending? If only to follow the deliberations while waiting for her to duly take her seat.
Why not? We shall see.
Ah, thank you so much. In this way, you'll be able to keep your mother informed of what is said. There's something else I'd like to briefly go over. Earlier, you asked me the official reason for your mother's presence here. Is there an off-the-record reason why your mother came here?
She was looking for someone.
What do you mean?
In Paris, we were working on a smuggling case to do with occult objects. We had just arrested a dealer who intended to go to you to meet a buyer. My mother was here to find out to whom he intended to sell his stolen treasure.
Oh. What was the name of your dealer?
Bippus.
The dealer was called von Burchard. As for the buyer, he was unknown to us.
No, I don't know anything about that. There's something I still don't get. In your opinion, why would your mother remain in hiding over several weeks?
Well, Mortimer, I suspect you wanted something from her and she didn't give it, so now you wanted to bin her, now she's hiding, and now you want Loey to give it in her place. I believe.
Her not coming back to the manor after so long makes me wonder if she is wary of someone.
Well, certainly. But whom? The only ones who were present during her stay were Sir Gregory, Duchess Hillsborough, Mr. von Boulder, and myself.
You forget Elizabeth Adams, my lord.
That's true. But Gregory and I arranged it so that they wouldn't run into each other. I thought it had worked. Do you think that your mother felt she was in danger because of Elizabeth?
It's possible.
The only thing I can tell you is that Sarah had indeed changed. At the beginning of her stay here, we enjoyed spending time together, solving the world's problems.
Tell me about her disappearance.
Since she disappeared, your mother has been seen once. Her behavior on the evening of your arrival greatly surprised Gregory and myself. She resurfaced to attack Emma, Emily Hillsborough's twin sister. And she shot her with a pistol. Then, before Gregory could intervene, she ran off and disappeared again.
I beg your pardon? Hang on.
Emily has a twin sister who knew my mother?
I figured. Identical. Yeah, I fucking figured. Okay, so that was probably who she was working with, not Elizabeth. Working with her own twin. Click Cunning. So that was who we saw get shot. So our visions aren't prophetic. We see them as they happen. That day. Interesting. So who's the last person here?
What's she playing at, goddammit? That means my vision on the wharf, it was actually happening inside the manor. Mother shot him.
And she doesn't have a hand. That was bleeding pretty badly. That's not something you should fuck around with out there. Which also probably means that she couldn't really stab anyone. With one hand, but then again, if anyone could, it's Annan.
His sister? The very person she came looking for? Why would she do that?
Excuse me, but between that and the childhood of Lady Adams, it's all a bit much for me to cope with. I need to piece it all together again to see things more clearly. You said that you spent a lot of time talking together at the beginning. What happened for that to change?
I'm afraid I haven't much to tell you. The more the days went by, the more she withdrew into herself. She never gave me an explanation. Until the day came when she purely and simply disappeared.
Where did she go when she wanted to be alone?
She would shut herself away in a room we use as a box room upstairs.
Would you allow me to go there?
Naturally, Louis, of course. I'll send you a servant to open it.
Thank you.
That's all I can tell you about the disappearance of your mother, Louis. I would like to have been more helpful.
I shall stay on her trail and follow up any leads.
Thank you. We will meet later on to welcome our last guest. In the meantime, I shall get someone to open the box room upstairs for you.
Thank you. The room is just opposite Mortimer's study.
So we got Vidocq, Estmort and all that. Vigilance? Oh, we did find all the clues. So we need a total of 3, 6, 7 points. Luckily we don't do much with logic ourselves. Finishing some of these would be nice. That's the one with reading, isn't it? Reading 2 of them. Psychology and 3 things. Nice. So 4 things total. It's the box room then. I guess.
There are burnt papers in the chimney. There's a legible fragment left. Hey, I recognize my mother's handwriting. She says, we must find a safer way to communicate. Someone is on to us. Trust in my faith in the man with the sword. So Mother had an accomplice here. Who could it be? Who could she be suspicious of? I must find the next part. Faith, sword. I recognize her love of riddles there.
Priest and Bonaparte?
There are burnt papers in the
Oh,
chimney.
fuck Pillock.
There's a legible fragment left. Hey, I recognize my mother's handwriting. She says, we must find a safer way to communicate. Someone is on to us.
Oh, in the painting
Trust
maybe.
in my faith in the man with the sword. So Mother had an accomplice here. Who could it be?
This
Who
is
could
all
she
laid out very
be
well
suspicious of?
considering. They said they've been
I must
searching
find
for
the
her.
next part. Faith, sword.
And everyone else
I recognize her love of riddles
is
there.
very smart. So they wouldn't have been doing dumb shit.
Dante's Paradise. Raise your head and be reassured, for what comes up here from the mortal world must ripen in our rays.
Her. I heard it. Brief ding coming out there. Ah,
What is this disc? Oh, that reminds me of the ones my mother collects. It's magnetic.
so it's one of those. Okay, so there's a hidden mechanism somewhere inside a wall, I assume, that has a magnet we can fuck around with.
Carmelite water. They say that if you drink this, it gives you a real boost.
We know that, Lewis. Faith and man with sword.
St. Paul on the road to Damascus. by Caravaggio.
I like all the paintings here.
A fierce opponent of the first Christians, St. Paul is suddenly struck by the call of Jesus Christ and converts. It's the best known conversion in Christian history, which teaches us that even enemies of Christ can be saved, and even become his greatest apostles after finding faith. From what I can recall, the account of his conversion could be found in the epistles to the Galatians, the Philippians, the Corinthians, and the Acts of the Apostles. Caravaggio attained a magnificent command of black and the play of colors too. Paul facing an ordeal, the curtains of his illusions being raised, and receives the light from his Savior.
Just in my face and the man with the sword. Well, that's inaccessible. Is this out or... No, that's the other part of this. So that's the man in the face and the man with the sword. So I'm assuming we used a magnet somewhere. Ah, this must be what it
Door
unlocks.
appears to be locked on the other side. I think I heard something fall to the ground. A metallic sound, like a key falling to the floor. We'll see if it works.
Oh.
It's open.
And the candles are on in there. Half expected to find our mother in here.
St. Paul painted by Guido Reni.
There's the sword.
St. Paul is shown holding a sword. Strange. There's hardly any dust, as if the painting's been cleaned recently. There's a small inscription engraved on the frame. Let's take a closer look. This is how Paul spoke to his pilgrims from Rome. Just above that, someone's written down the figure 11 on the painting and underlined it twice. No, what does that mean? So we have the figure 11 twice underlined, and a story of a group of pilgrims who it looks like Paul is speaking to. Maybe it's a code. There must be a connection.
Oh.
The text on Paul must be somewhere, and it must be associated with the figure 11. But what's the story with these pilgrims? I mean, a connection with the figure, maybe?
God damn it, man. Okay, so first you David Hume and spell connection the way, and then you conk out. Next sentence. God damn it, man.
St. Paul is shown holding a sword. Strange. There's
we've
hardly any
seen this.
dust, as if the painting's been cleaned.
Didn't I find a way to skip this?
There's a small inscription engraved on the frame. Let's take a closer look. This is how Paul spoke to his pilgrims from Rome. Just above that, someone's written down the figure 11 on the painting and underlined it twice. No, what does that mean? A chest with the occult symbol representing air.
Left key, right key. Pick both locks. Difficulty 7, goddamn. Which keys do we have? We have the earth and the what one? Earth and water. Oh.
The New Testament. This volume dates from the first edition of Gutenberg. It's the first book that was ever printed. The pages are covered in annotations in Latin, French, and Hebrew. Someone spent years studying this Bible. A volume of the Gutenberg Bible. A drawing of the Apostle Matthew, painted by Guido Reni. He's represented as writing the word of the Lord, transmitted by the Holy Spirit, who appears here in the guise of an angel. A drawing of the Apostle Matthew,
God damn it.
painted by Guido Reni. He's represented as writing the word of the Lord, transmitted by the Holy Spirit, who appears here in the guise of an angel.
Yes.
A drachma.
Fucking coins.
It's St. John, painted by Guido Reni.
Again.
St. John is known as the youngest of Christ's apostles. Well, we often give credit to St. John for having written about the apocalypse in the last book of the Bible.
Stuff is what? Diversion, that would be nice.
Several portraits of apostles, all signed by Guido Reni.
Looks like someone touched this commode recently. There are fingerprints on the sheets and in the dust.
So I'm assuming the code has something to do with this stuff.
Painting of St. Mark from the collection of the apostles by Guido Reni.
Fucking Guido painting all the things.
Amber crystals.
Oh yeah. Okay, so let's dick around with it. Let's get
St.
this
Paul
clue again
painted
here.
by Guido Reni. Of the 4 apostles shown in this piece, Paul is the only one who isn't an evangelist. He is the 13th apostle. So we have the figure 11 twice underlined, and a story of a group of pilgrims who it looks like Paul is speaking to. Maybe it's a code. There must be a connection. A text on Paul must be somewhere, and it must be associated with the figure 11. But what's the story with these pilgrims? I mean, a connection with the figure, maybe?
Right, let's go berg some Guten on the old Bible. Nothing in the corner, no. Oh, I forgot what he was called again.
I guess I'll just come back later.
Who was he?
St. Paul painted by Guido Reni.
Paul. Saint. I mean, it could be 11, it could be a bunch of us. Well, let's have a look. The guy was the 13th, so maybe 7 doesn't make
Now
sense.
I pray to God that ye do no evil, not that we should appear approved, but
that ye should do that which is honest, for we are as reprobates.
"11" and something about some pilgrims or something.
I guess I'll just come back later.
I may need the clue again.
St. Paul painted by Guido Reni. So we have the figure 11 twice underlined, and a story of a group of pilgrims who it
11-2?
looks like Paul is speaking to. Maybe it's a code. There must be a connection. A text on Paul must be somewhere, and it must be associated with the figure 11. But what's the story with these pilgrims? I mean, a connection with the figure, maybe?
So 11-2 pilgrim something. Ah,
I say then, have they stumbled that they should fall? God forbid, but rather through their fall, salvation is come unto the Gentiles, for to provoke them to jealousy. Oh, wait. A note from Mother is carefully folded between the pages
you could
here.
have shook
What
the
does it
book.
say?
Dear E, I'm glad you found this note. I was afraid the code of the two groups of pilgrims would mislead you. Pick up the package. You know where, and hide it where no one will find it. It's imperative. Awaiting your reply, hidden behind the youngest apostle.
What?
The youngest apostle? What does Mother mean by that?
The painting looks like it's been taken down recently. But wasn't my mother said that she would wait for an answer hidden behind the apostle? Ah, of course. There's something written behind the painting. On the second day, the pilgrims will listen to the prophecy of the young apostle. They shall add one companion to their left and 3 to their right to complete their rank. What does it mean? On the second day, the pilgrims listened to the prophecy of the young apostle. The prophecy of the young apostle. That was John. And the prophecy mentioned is most likely the book of Revelations according to St. John.
Revelations was John. Revelations John. So they added one to one side, yes, I guess this one?
And the woman was given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place, where she is nourished for a time, and times, and a half a time, from the face of the serpent. Hey, a new note. It's been folded carefully in the corner of this
Shake
page.
the fucking book.
The writing, it's not my mother's. S. I found the book in your effects. I've concealed it where no one can get their hands on it. I can assure you, awaiting your instructions, I will hear your reply like he who hears the angel. Hears the angel? What does that mean? Oh, it's probably the place where she was expecting to get the location of the next note. There's something else behind this painting.
It says, half of each group will join the first city of Corinth.
What the hell does that mean?
Group of pilgrims, if I'm not mistaken, numbered respectively 12 and 14 in the last painting. With the simple operation suggested, that would mean that the new groups are 6 and 7.
Just shake the fucking book, man. Where the fuck's the Corinthian? I saw it. There.
Now, therefore, there is utterly a fault among you, because ye go to law with one another. Why do ye not rather suffer injustice? Why do ye not rather suffer yourselves to be defrauded? Ah, look, here's a message. It is of paramount importance that no one finds it. Watch out for the Prussian. He's on the trail. Let's meet up. I'll leave it to you to organize the rendezvous. Not today. I'm unable to do it. In the meantime, I'll follow the first group to Mark, who will reveal the answer to them.
And that first group of pilgrims, how many are there now? If I refer to the chapter I'm reading at the moment, 6.
Mark's over here, right? So the Prussian, that would be, yeah, he's on to them. Völner. Mark?
There's nothing worth noticing here.
Wasn't this Mark?
Little characters are engraved on the chest of drawers under the urn. It's a sentence in Hebrew.
Fuck.
Choosing the Hebrew alphabet is no coincidence. It's gotta be a reference to the Bible. Painting of St. Mark from the collection of the Apostles by Guido Reni.
Mark Hebrew Bible. Damn it.
Then came together unto him the Pharisees, and certain of the scribes, which came from Jerusalem. And behold, there cometh one of the rulers of the synagogue, Jairus by name. And when he saw him, he fell at his feet.
Damn it.
And it came to pass in those days that Jesus came from Nazareth of Galilee, and was baptized by John in Jordan.
Stop bathing people you don't know.
And as they did eat, Jesus took bread, and blessed it, and broke it, and gave it to them, and said, Take, eat, this is my body.
Oh, we got some new stuff here. Follow the first group to Mark.
Painting of St. Mark from the collection of the Apostles by Guido Reni. Several portraits of apostles, all signed by Guido Reni. Looks like someone touched this commode recently. There are fingerprints on the sheets and in the dust. It's too cumbersome for me to unhook here, but judging by the dust, it hasn't been moved for months, if not years. There are finger marks, deliberately drawn in the dust. 8 in all.
Hebrew 8?
No, nothing of value here.
Hebrew 8 something? Damn it. It's 2 8s.
But that which beareth
6 was the
thorns and
previous.
briars is
Yeah.
rejected, and is nigh unto cursing, whose end is to be burned. Here's a message. There are some complications. Indeed, the Prussian is insistent. What's happening at your end? Do you need help? If tonight is not possible, let's say tomorrow evening, in the South Room, where we reviewed the situation. When Paul understood that only the axe counted, he went back on his tracks. I await your confirmation to his left, in the company of the pilgrims that have joined him. Yeah, this last comment is about their code. I should find new pilgrims near Paul.
What, the pile of pilgrims?
Several portraits of apostles, all signed by Guido Reni. Looks like someone touched this commode recently. There are fingerprints on the sheets and in the dust.
I guess not. This was Paul, right?
It's St. John,
No, it's not. Fuck's
painted by
sake.
Guido Reni.
Paul was a sword guy.
St. Paul painted by Guido Reni. St. Paul is shown holding a sword. Strange. There's hardly any dust, as if the painting's been cleaned recently. There's a small inscription engraved on the frame. Let's take a closer look. This is how Paul spoke to his pilgrims from Rome. Just above that, someone's written down the figure 11 on the painting and underlined it twice. I don't know, what does that mean?
To the left of him. The book again. Went back. Well, we'll have to figure that out next time. We are going over time quite a lot.
I guess I'll just come back later.
So, time for watching then, and next time.